Are you guys dying to change the sounds on your Proffie Neopixel lightsaber? In this video, I'm going to do a full tutorial on how to change all the sounds to your Proffie Neopixel lightsaber without using any wires or any added software. 5 minutes for one font, Scout's Honor. You guys asked for it, so here it comes. Don't go anywhere, guys. Yes! Hey Star Wars fans, thank you guys so much for clicking on my video. This is Finding the Force, where as always I cover a little bit of games, a little bit of theme parks, and especially lightsabers. Yeah, I think this is my first tutorial video. I'm kind of nervous. You guys know the drill. Please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button as well. I would totally appreciate it. So ever since I've reviewed this awesome, darker, gunmetal Luke Skywalker Neopixel lightsaber, you guys have been asking like crazy for me to show you guys how to change the sound font like I did in that video. Super easy, 5 minutes. No, really though, guys, thank you so much for asking. I haven't had such a demand for a video in a really long time. I kind of feel wanted. I'm just messing. So in the review video, I showed off a couple of my favorite sound fonts from Kyberphonic. If you haven't already, check out his YouTube. He does demos of all of his wild sound fonts. And he's in no way sponsored this video at all. I'm just a fan. I think his sound fonts are really rich and well-rounded. I also encourage you guys to check out Juan Sith. I think he's on saberfont.com. I also really enjoy his fonts. They're wildly original, and you'll find some of his that you've never heard or seen anywhere else. So let's get started, guys. Let's say you've got your Proffie Neopixel lightsaber, which, by the way, I still think I recommend the most. Why? Because it has the most realistic blade flicker. There's tons of advantages to Xenopixel with the app and changing the volume and all that cool stuff, but the one last thing it doesn't have yet, until there's an update or something, is that it has like strobe. It's not funny. It really could give someone a seizure if they're an epileptic. They don't really have a really cool true blade flicker like this. Awesome blade flicker. So that's why I still love Proffie. But if you buy a Proffie like Artsaber, for example, it's not Artsabers that are choosing the fonts. That comes from the manufacturer, font maker that they have like contracts with and all that kind of stuff. So it has the same like 15, 20 fonts or something on it. And I was a little bit bummed when I reviewed this saber that it had this Luke Skywalker sound font on it. Now it's got the ignition sound on point, but there's no magical Luke Skywalker feelings coming from that kind of a deep, wiry, electronic kind of a hum. So let's get started, guys. First things first is on your Proffie lightsabers, there should be a way on all of them to change the color. So don't think that if you want to put on like an Anakin sound font that you have to find a blue blade. Check this out. If you like the way the blade flickers, then there you go. I've now made it a rich dark blue color. So what you're looking for with these is like, because there's tons of different, there's like an electricity font and there's energy waves and that kind of stuff. But so don't be limited by the color. What you're looking for is, do you like the ignition? Oh, that's the blaster deflect. It sounds like you're killing, large insects outside. And dare I do the lockup. There we go. Not a good look. We'll turn it back to green just for fun. Okay, so when you think you've found the blade profile that you want, let's select forward and go backwards.
Smooth Jedi. Luke Skywalker.
Okay, so we want to memorize that sound. Luke Skywalker. That's the font sound that's going to help us find which font it is in the files, okay? Next, let's listen to the sound that comes out when we play the track, because you might want to change that. Dum, 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 da, da, dum. We're going to change that, but it has kind of like a drumming sound effect. We're going to look for that sound too in the tracks on the memory card here on the saber. So let's crack her open. Hey, by the way, guys, another lightsaber and Star Wars enthusiast, Haloax Custom Build, he commented that he really thought that this design of Luke's lightsaber really was more true to the Book of Boba Fett when I thought it was The Last Jedi. Either way, it's a cool, darker, more like, more worn look, but that guy knows his thin neck lightsabers for sure. So comment down below, what do you guys think? Okay guys, so you don't have to remove the blade, I just kind of feel like it. Bam, there we go. And so we're going to access the chassis here, which you get to just by unscrewing the pommel with an O, a pommel. There we go. Now most of your chassis are probably going to be fixed. This one actually happens to pop right out, has a pretty cool connector connecting it to the rest of the chassis, which connects to the activation switch. So this is the removable chassis. You got the speaker at the bottom, Proffie card, battery, connector. So a couple of tools that you guys probably want to go find. Borrow some tweezers. Every lightsaber enthusiast has to have a good pair of tweezers, which I stole from my wife. So grab some from your girlfriend, wife, or mom. You know, no judgments. Next, either you have like 20 of these or siblings, kids, whatever. This is a little Lego tool to help pry some stubborn bricks apart. This is gonna help you out, check this out. I can't take credit for this. Who gets credit for this idea is actually my favorite installer, Scrap That Works on Instagram. And so for these batteries, this is really great that it's really tucked in there and it's snug. So if you're play fighting a little bit, battery's not gonna dislodge, saber's not gonna turn off. So you don't want to use a flat Phillips head screwdriver. That's going to scratch up your contacts. Instead, I use a little flat, like toenail looking thing, and I'll just kind of try to work from the top and the bottom and slowly start to, the battery's pretty stubborn, gonna get in there and force this baby out just like that. There you go. Nothing scratched. You definitely want to take the battery out before you remove the SD card on the Proffie sound card. I don't know why, just do it. Okay, now that we've can gain access to your Proffie board however you are able to, that's when you use these tweezers, which makes it really easy. Just kind of wiggle that out there and the micro SD card comes out. And if you don't have one, you're gonna also need an adapter to plug in a micro SD card into your computer. Let's get on the old Mac computer. All right, guys. So what I did was I went ahead and plugged in the SD card over here. I'm going to try to keep all my SD card files on the right side and our files for the sound fonts over on the left side. This is the Grumpy Uncle V1, which I think is probably one of the coolest and sauciest Luke Skywalker sound fonts that I've come across. And what we're going to do is make a couple of different customizations. So the very first thing you want to do is go ahead and we're going to copy the SD card that came with the lightsaber, so we have a full copy of it. So if anything goes wrong, we can just take all those files, put them back on the saber, and it's just like it was. All right, let's go ahead and get a new folder here. I don't know why I can't right-click anything. And we're going to rename this Luke Artsabers Backup. There we go. All right, select all. And let's copy that. We always have that as a backup in case anything happens. All right, guys, and by the way, while this is copying, I wanted to take a quick minute to go ahead and tell you guys, please be cool and don't share these files. You know, K-Sith, Kyber Phonic, Juan Sith, these are guys. They're not big corporations, and they're really working hard, and they're really adding like a unique richness to the Star Wars community. So please be cool. Don't share these. You know, they usually go on sale. Kyber Phonic is like buy 5, you get a discount. So, you know, just be classy, guys, and keep them to yourselves. All right, so let's work with our SD card here. So we know it's Luke, and this one says L Skywalker. Let's go ahead and check it out. If you open it up here, here's all the files. Now, the name of the game is to leave it just the way you found it. If we change anything, we have to give it the exact same name as we did before, because with a Proffie board, it's configured and programmed to play the name of that file, L Skywalker, but we can go ahead and change the swing, the clashes, the force effects, all that jazz. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure we have the right font. So we're looking for the font file.
Is this training? My training? No. Always?
So that's not the font we're looking for, is it? There must be another Luke.
Skywalker.
There it is. Teeth Crystal. All right, there's our font. So we're going to do is select everything, and in the garbage we go. Plop. So, and this is the file from the Grumpy Uncle V1. There's a V2, which sounds really awesome. And in my opinion, has a deep, bassy sound that sounds a lot like Book of Boba Fett. But my favorite is the V1. We're going to take all these Proffie version files. And I love that when you buy a Kyberphonic sound font, that it comes with all the sound files for CFX or Proffie or Astria. I didn't even know that was a sound card. And we just copy them right over there. Boom, look at that. So let's say we want to customize it a little bit. Cool force sound, but let's say we want to customize it a little bit. I want to hear some voice taglines. So before I trash these, we have to remember that I'm going to highlight and copy the name of the file because the file that we replace it with has to have the exact same name. So it might be a good idea to change only one font at a time, retry your saber to make sure it's working well, rather than you putting the work into like 4 or 5 different fonts and finding out one little thing's off, the font or the whole saber may not work. All right, so we got grumpy extras over here. I love the extra files. And let's find a cool quote from The Last Jedi.
By the time I realized I was...
Maybe something a little less grumpy. What do you think?
It was too late. Breathe. Wow, it must be really strong. Caretakers.
That's a funny.
Island natives. They've kept up the... Can't imagine why. What do you know about the Force?
Okay, let's use that. Bam. There's one tagline. Highlight the whole title. Bam. Force 1. And so we know that every extra file we put in here, we have to put Force 2, 3, and 4. Let's find another one.
The Force is not a power you have.
Yeah, let's use that. There we go.
It's the energy between all things.
Cool. He's sounding more positive. He's helping Rey. And the Resistance fight another bad guy with a planet-destroying space station. 3.
Close your eyes. Breathe. Now. Reach out.
There we go. Now we have 4 Force taglines. There we go. And let's say we want to change the font sound. So when you get to that sound font, when you get to Luke's font, you don't want to hear a grumpy sound. So it's font.wave. I can remember that title. Into the trash.
Why are you here?
That's grumpy. Okay, let's go with that one. Bam. Put that there and have to give it the same name, font. There we go. Cool. Some different force sounds, font, okay. And then something else you can do if you wanted to have force effects in the force file, you can actually go to Blaster Deflect, and instead of hitting Blaster Deflect, you can actually put taglines here, labeling them BLST1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll keep the Blaster Deflects the way they are. Cool. Lastly, let's go ahead and give it a cool track. Let's go to Tracks, and let's find that track that had that little drumming tempo to it. That's not it. I like that one. That's not it. Nope. Nope. I like that though. There it is. It's called Mars.wave. Okay, so let's say I like this one. We're going to duplicate that. Bam. Actually, let's see what we have over here in the extras file. I love the extras file from Kyberphonic. Let's see. There we go. That's kind of mystical, triumphant. We're going to get rid of the copy, and let's put this over here. Cool. So we're going to get rid of Mars, but we have to give it the same name. Let's go ahead and trash that. Put this here. Bam. Just like that. Capital M. Hold on, let's double check. Nope. Lowercase m. You can never be too careful. There we go. All right, sweet. I think we are just about done. We got our backup here. All right, let's go ahead and eject this. Pop it in the saber and see what we got. All right, guys, does everyone have their SD card in their tweezers? Got our Proffie board. We're gonna put that SD card right back where we found it there. Just give it a little push. Boop. Pops right into place there. There we go. All right, guys, and pro tip, remember to always check your chassis for which side has a positive symbol. This one is right here. Want to put the positive end here. Always, I've heard a lot of horror stories of Proffie boards shorting out or something. So if you get a saber and it's not labeled, etch it with a flathead screwdriver, get a permanent marker, do something to etch and mark the chassis with a positive and a negative. So when you take the battery out, if you have to charge it that way, you'll know exactly which way to put it back in. All right, here we go. All right, so it didn't quite activate or hit right, so don't freak out. It happens sometimes. We'll just try again. Negative, then positive. There we go. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. It's working. All the files are accounted for. Let's see what we got. The designer put an arrow right on the chassis there to tell us that it goes right in the front of the saber. You can kind of feel it click in there. Suspense is killing me. On this saber, there's a really cool font. I can't remember which one, but it has like a kind of a flamey look to it. And if you make it blue, I thought about making that font Kyber Phonics Millennium Falcon font. Really cool. I love that one. Never gets old. I like to put the taglines in there. All right, so we're listening for that font sound that I picked.
Cal Kestis.
I am told it is. You need a teacher.
Yes! Here we go. Oh, yes. Oh, woo! We got a new font. No wires, no programs, and the right music track. Yes! Woo! Oh, dang, that sounds good. And let's check out those force effects I added.
What do you know about the Force? Now, reach out. It's the energy between all things, a tension, a balance that binds the universe together.
And what's cool about this lightsaber is that if you press the on button, it might give you the more dramatic ignition, but if you just want it to turn on, bam! Listen to this, guys, though. It sounds so good. Clash. Ooh, yeah, that's a nice lockup sound. Tip drag. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you as always for hanging out with me. It was fun, and have fun spending hours in front of the computer and reprogramming all those Proffie boards. Don't forget to get outside and geek out with them, get some fresh air, okay, guys? Until the next one, as always, take care. Be safe and have an awesome Star Wars day. Yeah.